I'm Chris from Play Comics, a show where we look at video games based on comic properties and how well they stick to that comic book source material. A part of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're checking out now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and the opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other wonderfully geeky shows at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
Welcome to a teaser episode of Better Podcasting. I am Stephen, and of course, SP is here.
I'm here, and I'm ready to go, Stephen. Why are we not doing an episode today?
Well, this is your teaser episode. We're here to tell you we're coming back next week. We're so excited. So if you want to check out the live recording, you should come on over to www.betterpodcasting.com/live on Wednesday, the 25th of September, in theory, with an asterisk slapped on there, because we're going to be doing that and then releasing the Sunday-ish of the 29th of September. Dates may shuffle a little bit. Maybe we'll mention it when we officially come back, but we wanted to drop this in the feed, let you know that we are officially coming back. And hey, we're also using this as a bit of a test bed, because if you followed the last season, you should have known that we were moving off of a media host that we will no longer recommend, and we wanted to see, hey, did the migration work? So this is a test. Hopefully you're getting this. So I guess we'll find out based off of the number of downloads.
Yeah, I know that my migration worked for Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. because I migrated that over, and it is operating off the new feed. So I know that worked. But we don't know if this worked yet. I mean, you never know until you actually release the episode, right? That we have the 301 redirect in place. We have gone through and verified everything. And it just comes down to, let's release an episode. And if it works, then we get to cancel the account. Yes!
Which is very, very exciting. And I know you've had a couple of cancellations already, and I congratulate you sincerely on that, SP.
Yeah, 2 out of the 5 paid accounts on the media host that shall not be named are now in the final month. They don't actually with this particular media host that we were previously on, it doesn't end right when you say cancel account. It actually stays active until the payment, because it's prepaid for a month, until the payment goes away. So until the end of the month, there's 2 of the 5 feeds that I pay for will be gone, and then hopefully a third if this works. I'm working on the other 2. It's going to be at least another month or 2 for the next one, and then it'll be another month or 6 for the final one. I will be working on it to get it off, but I'm only paying $5 a month for all these feeds. It's still $5 a month that I don't want to be paying this media host provider that shall not be named anymore on this podcast.
Hey, SP, I don't know if you know this, but we're actually streaming this live right now to betterpodcasting.com/live. And we actually have someone in the chat asking me a question from Wisconsin. Lockman says, okay. Stephen, are you still running your Zoom mixer and recorder? And I am not. I haven't used that for a good while now. I am on a Rodecaster Pro 1st gen. SP is actually on the 2nd gen, but I'm on the Rodecaster Pro 1st gen, and I floated between that and the Mixcast 4. In the end, this ended up a bit more stable, even though I got some problems with it. But no, I am not using the Zoom mixer or recorder anymore, unfortunately. This is the Zoom L12 that I used for a very long time, and then for a while, the L8. They're great pieces of equipment, just not the full suite of capabilities that this can do, and so this works out better for me in that regard. But I don't really have much bad to say about them if they worked for your workflow, because they were solid devices until this ended up offering me some more.
Yeah, I am looking forward to getting off the Rodecaster Pro 2 as soon as the next generation of mixer recorders are out there. They're not, so I'm just writing it for now. I have had some problems with it. Actually, I have a co-host with one on another show that I do called Artie's Addict, and that one experienced the same issues that I have been. It's something when you actually press record. It might be a Windows 10 issue, by the way, because the other host uses Windows 10. So as soon as you press record, it'll go a minute or so, and then all audio ceases to exist, and it screws up the settings on the computer. It's not just the Rodecaster Pro 2. So at least I could say I'm not the only one that has experienced the issues. I'm not even going to bother talking to Rode about it because I don't think they're going to do anything with it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to both flipping over to Windows 11, which we talked about before that I was going to do during the break. Unfortunately, I had a lot of things pop up during the break that I had to take care of first. But now that I'm on the end of the break and I'm closing some of those things up, matter of fact, just when I was booting up today for this, just a few minutes ago, I got the, hey, do you want to upgrade to Windows 11? I was like, yeah, I do, but it's not be right before I record. So it's just not going to happen. So, but anyway, the Rodecaster Pro 2 will work, hopefully, until I get the next generation of whatever it is out there. And I will wait until there's a couple of machines out there to determine which one would be best for me, because I don't have enough money to be buying like 3 or 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they're hefty machines, $1,000, 800 to $1,000 a piece, something like that. So no, I'm not going to be doing that. And talking about money, Stephen, there's another fleecing of podcasters going on right now.
Yeah, this was really interesting to see you send this my way. For those of you that don't know this, I mentioned we stream this show online, and when we stream that, we stream using a combination of a platform called OBS, and then streaming it out to a whole bunch of different places through OBS and a service called Restream. Well, that's complicated, and a lot of podcasters don't want to go that way, and I don't blame them, because it is complicated. It is an extra layer of complexity, and also it's not always the easiest way to be able to connect people. We have to use a third service called Video Ninja to be able to connect to each other, and you, SP, are one of the podcasters that choose wisely not to take the complicated approach, and you use something called StreamYard, right?
I do. If you haven't been following what's been going on with StreamYard, I don't really remember if we talked about it at the time, but it was bought out by Bending Spoons. It was sold and bought out by Bending Spoons. And then Bending Spoons has a history of taking well-run companies, or at least companies that offer a decent service, and then running them into the ground. I think Evernote, if I'm remembering correctly, was one of the businesses that they took over and then just forced a lot of people to leave. Well, we were waiting to see what they did with StreamYard. And I think a couple of weeks ago, the emails started to go out. And I don't know for sure, but I think it was in conjunction with the billing cycle. Like, it's not just the first of the month you pay for it. It is whenever you start your account, then the month clock starts, I think. And then when that runs out, then they send you an email and say, we've transitioned you to the new plan. Great. So what they did is they created 3 new plans. They increased a lot of the capabilities to things that, quite honestly, I don't need as a hobby podcaster. I was comfortable using the 720p broadcast and only 50 hours of storage. And I was okay using a limited run $10 a month plan. I got that because I was paying $20 a month. And I was like, it's not worth $20 a month to me. I'm going to get rid of this. And they said, oh, would you like to stay for $10 on this basic plan? And I said, sure, actually, that's all I need. And I will pay you $10 for it because I believe it's worth $10. Well, this new capability, there's 3 new plans. There's Core, Advanced, and Teams. And the Core plan has 10, they all have 10 on-screen participants. And the cloud storage is 50 hours for each. So these are recordings that you make, and then they keep all of the recordings. So the video, the individual video, or the local recorded video for each individual participant, the audio, and the audio for each individual participant. It's actually a decent capability there. But then it goes multi-stream destinations, goes from 3 to 8. You can remove the StreamYard logo on all of them, which scratches my head, but you're paying a lot. We'll get to the amounts in a second. And there's dark mode available, pre-recorded streams between 2 and 8 hours for the plans. There's 1080 is the base. You can go up to 4K. But here's the deal, Stephen. The Core plan, the one that they've switched me to, which is the lowest plan, instead of $10 a month or $20 a month, it's $45 a month.
Oh, that's a big jump.
For a hobbyist, I don't want to spend a lot of money. was comfortable spending $10, and if they gave me the option, I would have said, yeah, I'll throw 15 your way, sort of thing. But I wasn't comfortable with 20 for this. Just where I am with what I want to spend on my podcasting. For me, as a hobby, not making any money from it, I'm not going to spend $45 a month. So that's the lowest plan. The advanced plan is $90 a month. So it's double to go up to advanced. And then if you want like the professional teams plan, which I wouldn't say any hobby podcaster would need, but the professional teams plan is $300 a month, not a year, a month. So you've gone up in price significantly. They have valued those capabilities at that level. Like, no, I'm not even going to pay the lowest amount. I'm sorry, guys, you've lost me. Now, I have the account until the 18th of October. I'll probably continue to use it. I've already started. I knew this was coming because the first emails came out a couple of weeks ago. It was in the podcasting news sphere, which I pay attention to because of better podcasting. So I'd already started taking the shows that I had wanted to keep on there off, the previous recordings. So special recordings of guests that I've had, or, maybe you running around, showing yourself shirtless. I wanted to keep those recordings, to be honest with you. I'm just joking. But I wanted to keep a few stuff, but I'm going to pull them off completely. I've already pulled a lot of them off already originally when I recorded them, but I'm going to make sure that I have them, and we're just going to delete them from the service and then do that each individual recording for the next 2 or 3 weeks. And at the same time, I am going to transition to the Video Ninja and OBS. Restream reached out to me and said, hey, you can use ours. I'm like, yeah, all right. And I might check them out, but I'm specifically like, I'm done paying a lot of money per month for this sort of thing. I'm just going to use OBS and Video Ninja. Now, this said, Stephen, remember the days when stuff was free with Hangouts on Air?
Yeah, right. The other thing, too, is like you do get a couple nice features that you've had with StreamYard, which is the ability to do the multi-track video recording, which is not ideal in Video Ninja. It's really not. You kind of got to do it on the OBS side, in my opinion, to have it easily workable, because the Video Ninja does it in some random format. So I wish you luck. I'm sorry this has happened. Maybe in the end it'll lead to us finding some other services to talk about, but I am sorry for you. That sucks when it's such a drastic increase at that.
It was easy. There was an ease to this. And I think people that aren't as technical as we are, I mean, as much as you are more advanced in your hobby on this, I am a rocket scientist. Legit. I have advanced degrees in rocket science, astronautical engineering, stealth technology.
Humble brag, not so humble brag there.
I think I could figure out how to podcast, right? It's not insurmountable. Now, the amount of time that I have to do it is limited, but I think I could figure it out. Your average person, your younger person that just has a Mac and just has everything given to them from the app perspective across the board, they might need something else. Maybe they're using StreamYard and they have to use another capability just because they're not comfortable using OBS. But I have talked to a lot of people that are comfortable using OBS. I'm a moderator on the podcasting subreddit. OBS is talked about all the time over there. So I'm fine learning it and using it. It will be a learning curve for me. I have not ever delved a lot into it. I have dabbled in it, but I've also used another capability that's much like it called XSplit.
Yes.
And so I have some experience with XSplit, and OBS shouldn't be that different in concept. So we'll see how this whole thing goes. And I have a month to transition off of it. I think it'll impact my co-hosts more than it'll impact me.
The other, people who will be missing out here is the people who maybe they are technically able to do it, but they're technically not because their technology won't allow it, right? You got to have a half-decent machine for some of this stuff to do through OBS. So, and I don't blame people who are like, no, I don't do a lot on my computer. I'm not going to spend a ton of money on there. I'd rather put it towards, say, a hardware audio recorder or something. So I definitely think that we've known enough people using StreamYard in our discussions for better podcasting. I think we're going to hear a lot about this. I wanted to just hit our live chat there because we did actually have Liberty Dude there say, sounds like StreamYard is going to struggle to keep users, hobby or not. Those prices are hard to justify for lower end profit podcasts too. 100% agree. 100%.
Yeah, and Liberty Dude said, has connecting through Discord gotten any better? Question mark. We have dabbled with Discord before. Both of us have. I have issues with the quality that's provided, or the hit or miss quality, I guess, is the better way to term it. And so I would prefer not to use it. Discord's a great chat capability for me. And I know a lot of people use it for podcasting, specifically hobby podcasters, but I just don't want to go that route. I want to make sure that I have my capabilities separate from where the community is, so that if something happens, I don't lose both the community and the connection capability all at the same time.
Last thing that we'll just throw in on this topic, which is our solo topic, because again, this is just a teaser. We have a follow up to the comment I made a few minutes back about using or doing this show through OBS and Restream. We do have Alexander saying, have I used the OBS multiple RTM stream plugin, ADAM multi-stream? This is something that we actually have a while back sort of touched on because we talked about the ADAM vertical plugin, which is the one that allows you to have a whole separate set of OBS scenes in a vertical format if you wanted to stream vertically. And when we were doing that test, this was over a year ago now, I would think. I did use the multi-stream, and I have enough bandwidth myself to be able to do that. That's actually, my upload hasn't been a problem for a very long time, so I have no problem doing that. In fact, back when we were using XSplit, it was baked right in, and I used to do that. I'd send them out. There's a lot of benefit to sending out the streams individually from my computer, but the thing is, we like to have all the chats connected. So if someone replies on YouTube, it's seen in the Discord. And if we do a third somewhere else. So at the moment, because we haven't exceeded the free plan on Restream, I keep sending this show out through Restream so that all of those chats are all intertwined. I've tried multi-chat plug or system that the same people who make VDO Ninja have made. It was way too complicated. Honestly, I didn't even want to talk about it on this show because it was too complicated. So maybe in the future something will change, but that's why we keep using Restream rather than sending them out directly from my OBS to the different sources or destinations.
Yeah, from that perspective, I'll just chime in on a couple things here. First of all, the chat combination through StreamYard was actually pretty good, but most of the consumption on my shows happens after the fact versus live. Like on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., Artie's Attic, it's completely not live. And Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., there's such a small version that actually catches the live version. I'm fine not being live, or at least not being live in multiple places to have to combine a chat. So it's not going to affect me there, but it might affect some of our listeners that want to be out there on several different platforms, and good on you if you want to do that. So you'd have to, if you're on StreamYard right now and you're looking at other capabilities, the chat combination of StreamYard as you go live it's very good with StreamYard. Might not be as good with the next whatever you want to use, the next capability that you use. So just something to consider there. And, the other thing that I want to throw out there is we will be talking about our experiences moving media hosts. And if you have any questions for that, please get it into us and we will incorporate it in our discussion. Both Stephen and I have done it independently. I let Stephen do the better podcasting just because I was dealing with so much other stuff and he needed the experience to do it so we could talk about it. And we both have come up with some highlights to share. But if you have any specific questions on moving media host, please let us know and we will add it to our answers that we give and our best practices.
I have one last thing to throw in here, unrelated to all of this. I wanted to mention a bit of a, I don't know, I guess I'll call it an epiphany, but I'll call it a pondering, perhaps, of okay, let me just back up here. I've been endeavoring on this quest to digitize a bunch of my physical media. I've got a nice little stack of movies here for the video viewer. That is movies that I have been digitizing to my local library. And I started by doing all of the Blu-rays. And then I went, I don't think I'm going to do the DVDs. And then inevitably, I decided I was going to do the DVDs. Well, while I was doing the DVDs, this is when this realization sort of came to me, is currently, if you want to buy yourself some physical media, you're probably going to buy yourself a Blu-ray. I think that's a fair statement to say.
That's fair.
And when you buy a Blu-ray, I am holding up Blu-rays for the audio listener, some of which might have some colors that are being green screened. However, they all are in a similar form factor. They're all in a standard sort of Blu-ray case. They all look very similar aside from the labels in the front and the back. And you go, okay, that's a Blu-ray. Well, while I was doing the DVDs, I was reminded of yesteryear. And I am now holding up 3 different types of DVDs. One, which is the Saw movie, Saw 3. One, which is, of course, the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, because why not? And the third is Bride Wars. And these all are in cases that are very, very different. And back in the day with DVDs, this was very common. You would go and you would see a whole bunch of different style to the DVD cases. But somewhere along the way, as a society, or perhaps due to trademark and regulations, we decided that we wanted to go bland and uniformity with the new style movies, which was, of course, the Blu-ray movies. So I wanted to bring that up because, it's the evolution. Things change. You go, these are both movies. You go, I'm going to watch a movie. These both classify as movies. Back in the day, DVDs were the gold standard, and then Blu-rays are. And whilst they are both referred to as movies, things evolved. And sometimes what we knew to be the thing is no longer. And before, we used to have a variety of different style to these DVD cases. And now we have a lot of uniformity. So you need to evolve. And sometimes terms change, or what a term means changes. And you just got to go with the norms of society. And sometimes you don't get to stick your feet in and go, I'm not going to allow that change. I want all of my Blu-rays to have a pink case. You go, nope, the standard is now a blue, boring old case. And that's what it is. And I got to roll with it.
Well, for the standard, but there's still steel case versions.
Fair
right?
enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that Saw a steel case? Does that Saw DVD a steel case, by the way?
No, it was some form of plastic see-through case. But I bring this up because obviously, I did forget about the fact that there's so much mishmash with the DVDs, but it's also my way of saying what a podcast is will change with time, and you got to be okay with that. That was my long way to get there.
I knew where you were going. I just wanted to poke the bear a little bit. Heck, I just bought and watched a over 75-year-old movie on Blu-ray. It was called Hatari. It was a John Wayne movie, and I bought it on Blu-ray going, this was never meant for Blu-ray. It legitimately wasn't. It was shot in the early 60s. And it actually turned out pretty good. So I'm glad that I bought it. It's like a 3.5-hour movie. For those that might be interested in safaris or animals or something like that, this is John Wayne being a cowboy out in the African desert, I guess, or whatever, out getting animals for like zoos and that sort of stuff. So it's John Wayne standard stuff out in Africa getting animals, and it's kind of unique because it's not the typical John Wayne film, but it is John Wayne, and the whole family can watch it because generally a lot of women like the animals and like that sort of stuff. And hey, there's even the elephant walk in there, and it's kind of fun. And that's a 75-year-old movie
Wow.
that has transferred over into Blu-ray. Now, we don't have 75-year-old podcasts because podcast, the term, didn't come about until about 20 years ago. I want to say like today or tomorrow or this week or whatever. The term podcasting is 20 years old. So you're never going to get a 70-year-old podcast today, but in 50 years, you will. And I think what we call a podcast 50 years from now will be very, very different than what we think of one today.
Agreed. So that's going to wrap up your teaser episode of Better Podcasting. As we mentioned, we will be officially back next week with an actual episode. We have mapped out our season. It is going to be a short season. We mentioned that last season. It should go through till just over the middle of November, and then we'll be calling it quits for the
forever.
Sure, let's go
forever.
With that. Maybe that's optimistic.
Okay.
But likely only the year. We'll be calling it quits in mid-November, just past mid-November. So that's what we've got mapped out. We did make it very clear last year, if you didn't hear that we do enjoy having a bit of a break, an extended break around the holiday season. We are both very busy with family events and whatnot, so we are going to carry that on. In fact, I would say we're going a little longer than usual because of the timing with how the last season went late and all this other stuff. But that's what we've got mapped out right now. But if you have any thoughts about anything that you would like to hear us cover, let us know. We do have topics all filled out, but you don't know where your suggestion might fit in, or maybe we'll throw one of our topics out for yours. So you can go ahead and email podcast@betterpodcasting.com or come to our Discord at betterpodcasting.com/Discord. Or if you'd really like, you can find yourself a VHS tape, record your suggestion on that, convert it over to DVD, then send it to Blu-ray, then digitize it and give us the link. You can do any of these things.
Yep, VHS tape. Muppet movie for you audio listeners.
So for episode teaser of Better Podcasting, I'm Steven saying Bride Wars. Should I watch it? Probably not.
I'm SP saying you're welcome for this bonus episode, and I look forward to hearing your comments as we go through the season. See you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for checking out another episode of Better Podcasting. You can find the full back catalog of Better Podcasting at betterpodcasting.com. If you're into geeky podcasts, please check out the other podcasts on the Gonna Geek Network at gonnageeknetwork.com. This show was produced and edited by Stephen Jondrew. Voice work was done by L.W. Salinas. Thanks again for listening or watching, and we hope to see you again next week.